Hi there, I'm Jake Humphrey. Welcome along to another extended episode of the High Performance Podcast right here on YouTube. You are going to hear and see stuff that you just haven't heard or seen anywhere else. Genuine inspiration in today's episode. This is what's in store.
You can learn to really enjoy doing something that you may not love, but you can enjoy the feeling of being good at doing something well. And you do something well, you like to do it more. But if we can marry innate ability with giddy up, with work ethic, with I'm going to educate myself for that, or I'm going to work towards that, and I'm willing to outwork somebody else next to me, my competition, whatever, that's something that I have an innate ability for. I think that's the honey hole.
There's loads of great stuff in this episode, but listen, before we get going, I would love it if you could subscribe, but as well as that, just hit the notification bell as well, because as soon as there's a new episode or something fresh from all of us, you will get it first. But for now, grab a pen and paper because I think you might need to make some notes on this episode. It's full of brilliant takeaways. Enjoy. Here we go. Hi there, I'm Jake Humphrey and you're listening to High Performance, the podcast that delves into the minds of some of the most successful athletes, visionaries, entrepreneurs and artists on the planet and aims to unlock the secrets to their high performance life. And you can't do a job like this on your own. Professor Damian Hughes, expert in high achieving sporting cultures, is alongside me. And Damian, we're about to have a conversation with a man who's not only achieved great things along the way, he's clearly been a great learner. And as we've learned from his new book, he's also a generous learner.
Very much, Jake. I think what I'm excited about this is a guest that we're going to interview that's written a book packed with common sense, but he tells you about how to translate it into common practice. And that's a rare gift. And I'm really excited to explore that.
Great. Let's do it then. A few days ago, Damian and I ordered the book's green lights, which arrived, and I obviously had high hopes, as did Damian, but this book exceeded them. If you haven't already gone out and bought this for Christmas, it's engaging, it's honest, it's to the point, but most importantly, it's full of takeaways that are genuinely translatable to our own lives. So how does one of the planet's greatest acting talents, an Oscar winner no less, have learnings for your life and mine? Well, you're about to find out. So welcome to the High Performance Podcast, Matthew McConaughey.
Good to be here. Thank you for that introduction. Geez, I could have listened to y'all for a while. Common practice. And how do you make it where it translates? That word translate. As an artist, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm going for. You know what I mean? It's like the difference between self-expression and art. All art is a form of self-expression, but all self-expression is not art. But if self-expression can become art and it's translatable, then that's my biggest compliment to any work that I do. And my biggest compliment to anybody who puts work out in any art form that I go, oh, it translated to me. Thank you.
So who did you write this book for then? Because it definitely does translate. And I was wondering whether it was kind of written as something to leave the children.
No, I mean, they're not ready for it yet. I mean, they need to read. They're 12, 10, and 7. If they read this book now, they'd have a whole lot of questions for Popeye that Popeye would need more than 24 hours in a day.
In the future.
A long time to answer. So, man, I wrote it for me. And, you asked that question, and it makes me realize that this is a theory that you guys proposed indirectly in your introduction to me. It's a theory that I think lines its way throughout the book. It's a theory that I'm even crystallizing more in talking about the book and even my future thoughts, which is the more personal we get, the more relatable we can be. The more selfish we actually get, if we actually go after true selfishness, I'm into redefining this word, the more selfish we get, the actually more selfless it can be. These contradictory things of, no, I did it for me, so it's not for you. Actually, no, if I'm really focused on the subjective I noticed in the writing of this book, that's when I noticed, I was like, boy, the deeper you're going into the I, Matthew, the more it appears to be relatable to the we. And
you mean like a kind of positive selfish, rather than how we always negatively think about selfishness. You mean kind of to be selfish for positive reasons?
Well, I think the true meaning of selfish is absolutely positive, because I think we don't like to admit it, but we all know it. We don't do jack unless it's personal. It's got to be personal, and it should be personal. Now, we contradict that and say, oh, selfish is bad. Oh, tame your ego. And I don't think that's the purchase. I think it's no, these two are not contradictory. There is a place where where we can marry in what we want being what we need. We can marry what's good for me is good for we. What's good for we is good for me. We can marry the responsibility and freedom. Those things that are seen as like, one's, talk about responsibility and fate. Those two can be married in ways. And I think to see these things as paradoxes and marriages that would be truly selfish. Meaning, if I'm going to lie, cheat, and steal from you two right now, all right, I got away with it. I got your wallet. You'd say that was selfish of me, right?
Yep.
But then I'm going to London next week. And you guys are there. I'm in your neighborhood. Everywhere I'm going, I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm going, geez, I hope they're not around, man. Geez, I got to watch my back. So I've now, by lying, cheating, and stealing yesterday, I purchased some of my time in the future. So now I've got more stress. Now I'm not present because I've got to worry about crumbs I left in my rearview mirror via the stealing of your proverbial wallet. So what was really a more selfish act? I would say it was less selfish to actually steal from you because I just bought myself yellow lights in the future. I just bought myself red lights in my future. I didn't buy green lights. Didn't buy my time. I bought my time having to worry about something I did in my past. That's stress. That's not selfish. It'd be much more selfish, I believe, to go ahead and say, hey man, I found your wallet.
So Matthew, that's quite a profound realization that you've come to. When did that start to emerge as a truth for you?
Well, it's still emerging. Look, I'm always trying to measure. I've always been interested in the long view. I've got kids. You got kids?
Yeah.
Delayed gratification, man. Tough one to teach, but boy, one they need to know. So also in parenting, my kids has helped. Talk to them about, hey, you got homework on Friday. You don't have school till Monday. You got an hour of homework. Hey, you got 2 hours of skill on Friday afternoon. You want to do it right now so you can have Sunday night free? No, I want to save it. All right, well, we might be playing footy in the backyard Sunday and you're going to have to leave the game. No, I'll chance it. Come Sunday, you're out there playing around the backyard. You got to go do your homework. Oh, no, I wish I'd have done it. Yeah, you would if you'd have just nipped it in the bud Friday. You'd have had Sunday free and you'd have bought yourself a green light. I'm always trying to, so how far down the line can we think? It's tough. A kid doesn't project till tomorrow. Our kid doesn't even project an hour ahead sometimes, a minute ahead. But as we grow up, how far can we project? We make choices. We know we make certain choices today for ourselves. We're responsible to the things that we want to get, that we know engineering-wise will tee up a better percentage of succeeding, getting what we want tomorrow. Well, how far off can we think? Can you think next week, next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Can you go all the way to your eulogy? And think back. So I've always been entertained by that thought of, okay, not only let me think about the subjective I, selfish thing I want now, let me go be the eye in the sky, the subjective third person royal we, and have a look back and go, what's this look like? What's this choice going to look like down the line? Am I going to live it? Can I live in a way now that I can look forward to looking back?
Yeah.
I like asking myself that question, always have.
But to have this, you need incredible discipline. There's loads of stories in the book about discipline. Obviously, people know the story about the incredible weight that you lost for the Dallas Buyers Club. Yet in the evening, I still find that I don't want to eat Pringles, but I do. So for people listening to this who struggle for discipline, what is your advice for sticking to those personal protocols? How come you don't have a voice, or maybe you do in your brain going, no, don't bother, just have another cheeseburger, Matthew, deal with that.
Right. Well, okay, like in that case.
For any case, really.
Well, yeah, I hear you, but it's nice when it's cut and dry, when it's clear.
Yeah, go on then.
I mean, some of them, the part of that argument, that little voice in our head, is trying to make it a shade of great compromise. Well, but look, for that in Dallas Buyers Club, it's clear. First thought. I look like this in that role. You have checked out of the movie 2 frames in. Oh, bullshit. He doesn't have HIV for stage 4. So I didn't do my job. Therefore, I am embarrassed. So the fear and dislike of being embarrassed is up there pretty much at the top for reasons to stay disciplined for me. I have to, again, we're going to bring up delayed gratification. Going no, you know what? There's something to actually this sacrifice is nice right now. And I'm glad, oh, this is supposed to be hard. But you start, if you stick with it, the longer you stick with it, you start to get kind of a sort of honor and pride with it. And it becomes easier because you're like, you know, and I even, when I lost all the weight for Dallas Buyers, I became kind of arrogant to the family. I'd be like, oh, y'all going out to eat pizza, huh? Schlups. You know, and I mean, I would laugh at myself, but I was like, almost like my king on my own island, like, but look at me, I'm being so disciplined. You know, my wife would give me hell about it, but we had fun with it. But it became, and I'll say this, man, it's really, you gotta commit to the original choice. Hardest part about working out is what? Putting on your damn shoes and getting out the door. Hardest part is making the decision and when to make it. And if you initially set out and go, this is not negotiable, and I know I'm going to go down the line and it's going to get a little wobbly and I'm going to try to argue myself out of this, don't listen to that voice. It's very clear this is what we're doing. You lock in on that initial, then the rest is pretty damn easy. Because you're not negotiating. It's in the negotiating with ourselves. That's the fatigue. That's the stress. That's the, I can't stand it. No, you can stand it if you go, I don't have another choice. I'm not giving myself another option, period. Then it's like, okay, survival mechanism kicks in. Let's go. What, you know?
See, there's a really powerful theme that you're articulating there, Matthew, but again, that comes out in the book about that phrase you've just used there, commitment. You told that story about when you were at law school and you phoned your dad for permission to pursue a career in Hollywood, and his answer was, if you're going to do it, commit completely.
Yeah.
Would you explain for our listeners the power of commitment and what that subsequently gives you?
One, it gives you clarity, but look, let's start off by this. Man, it's hard. But I think it's fair to say, especially today, with so much information, trying to decipher what's real, what's not, what's actual, what's true. It's hard to know what the hell to commit to, man. I mean, it's not. To find those things in our life and choices we can make that we go, no, this is black or white. This is what I stand for. This is what I stand against. It's tough because as we grow older, we have empathy, we have understanding, we have compassion, even maybe for ourselves. We can go, well, I want to hear the other side of the story. Well, I can entertain, I can work too. And I think if you get past going, now I'm adrift in the shades of gray. I'm adrift in a form of moderate compromise. So I really don't know what I stand for against. If we get past that and into the paradox of, actually, no, I'm seeing the third eye truth in understanding both sides. But I'm still making my choice and I know what I'm about and what I'm not. Look, it's a gift to have something and to find things in our life that we can be committed to. We're giving ourselves, because it gives us a compass, man. It gives us an anchor in this world. And even I've found that it gives me courage to try out new things if I'm anchored, meaning like my family's non-negotiable. Me as a father, non-negotiable. Me as a husband, non-negotiable. Boy, to have those and go, well, whenever nothing else makes sense in the world, I got that, and I know if I go to that, I can't go wrong. It's good to have that. And I have more courage to go out further and try out different things because I have this linchpin, or maybe it's faith. But to be obsessed, find something that you can get obsessed with that is actually could be a healthy obsession, that you want to be a perfectionist about, that you want to do it as best as possible, that's a gift to be able to do it. And it's not supposed to be easy. I don't know if it was easy, it wouldn't be near as fun once you get it, or once you pull it off another day, another week, another year, another life. But can you keep, it's hard to balance all these things. Meaning, if I'm going to go get obsessed with the role of my career, well, if I didn't have my family with me on location, if I'm going in the asset section on my career, man, I'm really doing a good job nailing this character. But I'm kind of going into the debit section back home with the wife because I hadn't seen her in a while. Kids hadn't seen me in a while. Friends I haven't talked to, and actually I haven't been getting enough sleep or eating, so my health's kind of going to debit. So how do we keep these things all balanced? Tough to do. Luckily, I get my family to come with me. I have a wife that has a support system around me that tells me when I go out the door in the morning, don't look over your shoulder. Go be obsessed with this role today. I got the kids, I got the house, get your ass out there and do it. So I have a support system that helps with that. And if you don't have a support system like that, it's harder because you go get obsessed with something. You're like, well, what am I going to miss? Am I missing another opportunity if my head's so down in the process? You know what I mean?
So what about people then, Matthew, who are listening to this conversation and they want to be where you are? They want to be passionate. They want to look at their life and know they're going in the right direction, but they're struggling to find the thing. We've already said how hard it is to know who you are sometimes, I think, in the modern world. What's your advice for those people? Because you talk about responsibility. Is it all of our responsibility to know what we should be, what makes us tick, the life we should live?
If we choose it to be, again, I would say it's a choice. That I hope I'm not being condescending to say that I think everybody is on some level is extremely interested in the introspection and investigation of who are they individually. And who are they in this world, and how do they dance? What's the reverb? What they give out and what comes back? What's the supply and demand of the life we live every day, and it's in the relationship with the world. So then you break down the world, our careers, our time, families. You know, it's hard to know who you are and what you want to do. I write about this in the book. So first, take that pressure off yourself and start with process of elimination. Meaning like, God dang it, I'm not getting what I want. I don't know who I am. I don't know if I'm on the right track. All right, forget that. That's a big question to answer. Let's just eliminate the things in our life that we know don't feed our true selves. Who are those people, those places, those habits that we keep going? I keep having a hangover every time I'm with them. I'm not getting residuals from that relationship. I always like it on the come, but I don't like it on the go. You know, I like the approach, think I'm going to make. I keep going to that place. Damn, why do every morning I wake up and I have a worse hangover in that bar, but I had the same drinks than I had in the other bar? Same drink. Maybe it's the people, maybe it's the conversation, maybe it's the smoke in the air. I don't know. But start eliminating those things that don't seem to give us residuals. Think about it as ROI, return on investment. So if you eliminate enough of the things that we aren't and don't feed us, by process of elimination, mathematically, we will end up with better chance of things that we are, that do feed us, in front of us. Well, now, if we get to that spot, I think it's about saying or asking ourselves, all right, what do I have an innate ability to do? What am I naturally gifted at? Parlayed with, and what am I willing to bust my backside work ethic wise to be good at? So biology and giddy up, you know what I mean? If we can match those two, then I think we have a better chance of succeeding, at least on a level that the proverbial Monday morning and Monday feels constructive. It doesn't mean we all become rich and famous. If we all only did what we loved, unemployment would be through the roof. So I'm not talking about do what you love. No, you can learn to really enjoy doing something that you may not love, but you can enjoy the feeling of being good at doing something well. And you do something well, you like to do it more. But if we can marry innate ability with giddy up, with work ethic, with I'm going to educate myself for that, or I'm going to work towards that, and I'm willing to outwork somebody else next to me, my competition, whatever, at something that I have an innate ability for, I think that's the honey hole. Because a lot of us chase things. Look, I'm 5'11", 3/4. Got 33-inch waist, 32-inch legs. My waist longer than my leg. I wasn't gonna be an NBA basketball player, no matter how many places or camps I would have gone to, or no matter how hard I worked. I didn't have the innate ability. I may have had the giddy up, but if you ain't got the innate ability, don't go play the giddy up on the thing that you're like, that's not gonna happen, bro. You know what I mean?
So can I ask you then, Matthew, that this is a really interesting one for our listeners that might find themselves, say, stuck in a job that they know doesn't excite them, but they have a level of competence at it and it brings in the bills. And you were on a similar path in terms of pursuing your law degree, and you were looking to pursue that route. What were the kind of questions that you were asking yourself that gave you the courage to walk away and pursue the risk of a career in Hollywood?
Yeah. Well, I was a sophomore in college at this time, and the only thing I had ever thought I wanted to be, or had talked about with my family, or was expected to be, was a lawyer. And I was right on with that. Thought I could have gone on and been a decent lawyer, and would have been excited about that. But around my sophomore year, I started not sleeping well with the idea that, wait a minute, I got 2 more years here, then I go to law school for 4 years, then I get out and I get a job. Geez, I'm gonna be 30 before I actually get in it. And I was like, I'm not sure I want to spend my entire 20s learning a craft. I want to feel like I just want to try to put my mark in here somewhere, or just go find out. I need something more experiential. I need to, you know, just got to get my hands in the clay and something. And I had been writing at the time and had shared some short stories with a friend of mine who told me he thought they were pretty good. And then he came to me and said, well, the short stories are good, but also, you know, you got good character. What, think about it in front of the camera. And I was like, no, a little, you know, it was just too avant-garde of the thought to be an actor. But I was able to say, yes, the storytelling business. So I have that phone call you brought up earlier to my dad, where I thought he was going to go, you want to do what? Meaning I was raised blue collar, you work your way up the ladder. The idea of going into the arts as a career, I thought he was going to go, son, you do that shit on Saturday afternoon as a hobby if you want, but you need to get a job that pays and blah, 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 blah. Well, he didn't. What he actually told me was, is that what you, once I said that's what I want to do, he goes, well, don't half-ass it. So in that line, he not only gave me approval, he gave me a kick in the backside, a launch pad, a rocket fuel, more than privilege, he gave me freedom and accountability and responsibility to go try and make it happen. But it's the fact that I wasn't sleeping well, and I was willing to take the risk to say, well, you also have an innate ability here to tell stories and get into, I mean, let's take our chance. You're not gonna have to be at school as long. You know, I remember thinking, Hollywood doesn't give a damn about your GPA. They want to see something. You know what I mean? They want to see a product, a piece of content. So that was like, well, you can start trying to make content immediately. Yeah. You know, even while you're here in school, try to. They're not looking at your ID to say, oh, we can't take that great piece of content because you're still in college. They'll take it from anybody, 5-year-old. You know what I mean? So I think it was a risk that I was wanting to take, but I felt I did have the innate ability to do it.
Interesting episode, hey? And of course, there's so much more from the High Performance Podcast as well. Please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a thumbs up, leave a review, but somehow get involved with the High Performance Podcast and become part of our growing community. Thanks for being part of the adventure.